And we're back here at Candlestick College. It is week 1, day 5. So hopefully you're watching these videos in order. We're going to get right into it today. So this is the last day of week 1 chart basics. So we're going to be talking all about time frame today. And this is super important. So you're definitely going to want to pay attention. And if you remember from yesterday, we talked about how the x-axis is the time, right? So the x-axis is the time, and that's the independent variable. And we're going to talk all today about how that time is shown on the chart, because there's multiple ways to show it, and you set the time frame, right? So you can manipulate these charts to see 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, or even longer, or the life of the chart, right? So I tried to relate this to something, and what made it easy for me was to think about it as looking at the Earth as a whole, looking at the giant timeline of everything, right? So you're zoomed all the way out. And if you were to zoom in, then you would see much more detail. And it's important to realize that when you get closer and closer, so if we just zoom in on right where those lines were, we can see more definable features here, right? So there's more candles where there were less candles in the other chart, right? So maybe there's 5 candles per 1 candle on the other chart, right? So if we zoom in even more and just go to those lines there, then we're going to see much more definable features in that zone right there. There's a lot more candles in that zone. And that would be like zooming in on North America. And if we were to zoom in a month, we could see and actually make out some more features. If we were looking at North America, it's kind of hard to see where the grass and all the other definable features are when you're right on the coast, right? And then if you were to even zoom in even more to the 1 day, then you can see that there's a lot of movement going on the day to day, right? There's looks what appears to be reversals, right? It dropped down and then it went up, and it dropped down and then went up and dropped down, right? So if we weren't zoomed all the way in, if we were zoomed all the way out looking at the Earth, then we wouldn't be able to tell what was going on the day to day. And that's relatable to actually zoomed in to where you can see houses and beach houses and pools on the shore, right? So if you're zoomed all the way out, you're not going to be able to make out these features, right? So that's how I chose to relate it here, and that brings us to our homework today. And this is homework number 5. So hopefully you're doing the homeworks in order. But the steps here, there's 4 steps. So pull up a chart of an interesting company, and you can use the same company as the last couple of days. You just want to change the time frame at the top of the chart, and instead of looking at the daily chart, we're going to focus on the weekly chart here. So there's a little drop down at the top of the stock charts chart where you can choose either daily or weekly. And I'm just going to ask you to choose weekly, and then to determine the range on the x-axis and determine the range on the y-axis, similar to where we did on the daily chart for the homework yesterday. The difference being we're looking at the weekly chart now, okay? So if you look at the weekly chart of Disney, you're going to see that it's different. The ranges are a lot different than the daily chart, okay? So I didn't fill in the exact ranges on the chart, but I did answer the homework here. So the X range for Diz was February to June, and the y-axis range was 94 to 142, okay? You don't need to be as specific with these prices, because honestly it doesn't matter all that much. If you're looking at a much longer time frame, then the pennies become less relevant. I will see everyone in week 2, and good luck on week 1 quiz.